D-Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Hopefully, my video camera won't give out on me, but I want to talk about something in between because on my last video last night, I talked about more. I'm on my series. I'm going to do 2 or more clips of it, but I'm on my series about, what's the name of this video? Street people versus certified citizens. And I said a lot of black crap yesterday. Okay, I don't call it black crap, but you do. Okay. I want to make myself clear. You need to understand. I understand what black people are going through. I just don't call what they go through racism. That's all. Okay. But there's the dog in the room. God has given me a dream about this. And it took me a while to interpret this dream. And the dream was a picture of me being one with white people until the dog walked in the room, and then it was between me and the dog, and they all laughed. They had to separate me from the dog instead of, you know, if your son doesn't get along with your son, okay? If your favorite young man doesn't get along with your son, you're going to try to fix it between your son and this kid so that they can play together, so that they can be around each other, so that the other kid can visit your home and sit down and eat, okay, SpaghettiOs with your son and your daughter, okay? You're going to try to fix that situation. That situation needs fixing. If 2 dogs don't get along, you pull them apart, okay? Because you assume that, you know, they're not going to get along because one's a pit bull and one's another type of dog, okay? But if a dog doesn't get along with a person, what do? You discipline a dog. You retrain a dog. You know, it's going to take a few minutes. But if my dog doesn't get along with my best friend, what do? Do I just say, oh, you can't come over to my house because my dog don't like you, or don't come into the kitchen because I got the dog in the kitchen, or, you know, you make the dog get used to your neighbors, and I have to admit, or your friends, and I have to admit that in my life, I've probably met about 4 of my white friends who actually said, come here, I need you to get used to my dog. I need my dog to get used to you. They wanted me and their dog to be good friends because why? We were good friends. Okay? And they weren't going to tolerate their dog singling me out from their other friends. Get this. Okay? And that is... But see, all white people ain't like that. I just had a situation, and I think I mentioned it in one of the videos. And I'm saying all this because I say a lot about black people. And I never say anything negative about white people. And the reason why I don't is because it's not my job. Because I'm not white. I think white people should put white people in place and black people should put their own people in place. And the reason why I'm so hard on black people is because I care about black people. I'm black. And so when you screw up, when you act a fool, okay, it's bad enough we already got this dog in the room. Okay, and they think you and the dog ain't any different. They just gonna pull you apart instead of making you get along with each other. Okay? I say what I say because I'm black. And whatever you do affects me. When you're out there on the street acting a fool, that affects me in here trying to act civil. That affects my job of me trying to act civil. It's funny to me, some of the things that go on every day that we don't, you have to, black people need to go to work, and black people to go to work every day, and they try to love and get along with everybody, you'll notice some things. See, my eyes are wide open. I noticed that, like, even some of my best cop friends, when they go to talking about, situations that happen to them on I have one guy at my job who just retired. He didn't retire. He decided to take another police job in a more civil area. But he would always tell me about his crime problems on the police force, and he didn't care if he arrested a black dude, a white dude, a Spanish dude, whatever. He would tell me what he went through as a police officer. He didn't feel that he needed to keep me out of the conversation because I'm black. If a black dude, did something wrong to him, on the police force, or he had to shoot a black guy, or he had to, he would tell me. Because he tells me everything else, so why not tell me that, okay? But a lot of white people pull other white people to the side, and they'll make sure you ain't in the room when they go to talking about how they ended up shooting some black kid, or they ended up, you know what I'm saying? Because why? Some white people don't get it. They simply don't get it. That race is not the issue. And a lot of black people don't get it. That race is not the issue. White and black people both, and every other race, have these problems and these stereotypes too. They don't get it that race is not the issue. And the thing is, race is a blessing from God. Race is geographical. If I have a good upbringing and I come from a good part of the world where there was peace and there was freedom and there was a strong, military presence, police presence, there was law and order. And I come over here to the United States and I'm the most behaved person you ever want to meet. That's not because of the color of my skin. That's because of my upbringing. That's because of my culture. That's because of where I come from. It has nothing to do with the color of my skin. Okay? These white people that are in prison, I don't care what the numbers are. I care about the fact that it happens. Okay? White people committing crimes like violence and rape and theft and armed robbery and things of that nature. What are these? Are these the dumb people that took a syringe and put some black blood in their syringe and shot themselves in the arm? They took the shot so that they could act black? Who are these white people? Why ain't they special? Okay? Because blood is blood. A black man, Senator Casey, remember that story? A black man can give a white man a blood transfusion. He's not an ape. He can give. I'm sorry, evolution. A black man is not an ape. He might look like one sometimes, depending on, how he takes care of himself. But a black man is not an ape. He can give a blood transfusion to a white man. A black man is not an animal. He can give a kidney to a white man. Matter of fact, I had a white friend of mine not too long ago who needed a kidney transplant. And I was this close. And I went in and I found out when I got my next exam at the doctor's. I asked him what my blood type was. And I told him. Because I'm thinking about giving my friend my kidney. I'm hoping that something happens that it doesn't happen. But if don't nobody give this brother a kidney pretty soon, I might have to step up to the plate, because I feel like maybe the Lord's calling me to give this guy my kidney. I don't know. And eventually, I waited, and somebody finally did give him a kidney. Okay, so today he's living a lot better than he is. He's still moving around kind of slow, but at least he's not in and out of the hospital like he was with the kidney failure. Okay, somebody finally did give him a kidney. Okay, but the dog in the room is that inner equality is non-existence. We want equality, yes. Yes, we want to make sure that black people, and it's a shame that when you have to use affirmative action to get black people jobs. But why do we have to use affirmative action? Because if we don't use affirmative action, okay, and I know I've said differently before, but I'm saying this. If you don't look at a black man's skills and you only look at the color of his skin, that's where you justify affirmative action. You got to give a black man just as much right to walk in there with a resume and say, hey, these are my skills. And I tell white people all the time. They say, oh wow, I'm surprised you did that. You pretty good. Good job today. And I'm thinking, how long have you known me? Okay? You haven't seen my resume. Okay? You haven't seen my resume. I tell people all the time. I had an argument with this white kid the other day. You know what I'm saying? He trying to tell me his credentials, so he needs to bring all this stuff to work because he got credentials. I says, well, did you go to school for any of this stuff? No. Okay. Those credentials do not work here on the job. This was security. Those credentials don't work here on the job. You know what I'm saying? You're free to use those credentials when you go home. But when you're on my post, when you're on under my command, okay? You know what I'm saying? Your resume is personal. That's between you and your resume. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the jobs that I've done over and over and over again, similar to the jobs that I'm doing right now, when I've been in this type of business for all this time, okay, yes, my resume is very important. And it's not just a piece of paper because I'm black. No, it is a document that shows you what kind of person I am, where I've been in life. Okay? And this is one of the reasons a lot of black people, more black people than white people though, don't realize where I come from. Even on my job, and they act like, oh, you start running around here trying to be a real supervisor, a real sergeant, okay? You know what I'm saying? We don't like you, okay? But the thing is, I can't help my resume. I can't help the skills that I have. I can't help the experience that I have. I can't help the fact that I'm older than a lot of the people that are working under me anyway. And I've done the jobs that they have yet to do. You think this job gets on your nerves? I dare you to go sit out in the cold for hours, okay, and try to hold your pee, waiting for them to let you in, okay? You have not yet worked out in the freezing cold. You have not yet spent half a day in a freezer. You have not yet spent a whole shift in a feeder, okay? Being locked in and locked out, okay? You have yet to be treated like a slave. I've been through jobs where I've been pissed on myself before I get back in the building. That's all part of the job. It doesn't mean it's racism. It's part of the job. They lock us out. We get the job done. And then when it's lunchtime, they let us come back in. And then they send us back out. Oh, we can't wait till that sun come out. At least it'll give us, maybe the temperature will go up an inch. It's freezing out here. Okay? But these young kids have no idea. Okay? But the dog in the room. Defined by race instead of character. And that's a fact. We are always defined by race instead of our character. And this still goes on even though there's a lot of white people speaking out against it. These same white people that speak out against it speak out of their butthole a lot of times because they still do it. You know what I'm saying? Just a week ago, I was making a funny. This black guy walked onto the premises with a cowboy hat on. Okay. This white woman that was standing there waiting on her ride, me and another black guy talking about this black guy wearing a cowboy hat. She decided to act like the cowboy hat was a white thing. And the brother's trying to be white. Okay? And she was offended by me saying, when he got out of the car, that, he's in the wrong place to wear that hat. Well, I was a little bit off. He's wearing the wrong clothes to wear that hat. You don't wear a cowboy hat with sweatpants and a Nike t-shirt. Okay? Now, a lot of you people, especially you black folks, would disagree with me. Okay? But if you ever seen somebody, Miss White Lady, if you ever seen somebody in the darn South wearing a cowboy hat, they ain't wearing it with sweatpants and a t-shirt. They got on a button-down shirt, a suit coat, this hat that this boy was wearing. So she decided to get all personal about it and say, well, you must hate country music. I says, no. She just got up in my conversation. I wasn't talking to her. I was talking to the brother that I always talk to in front of me. I said, no, ma'am. I like probably about 5% of country music, just like I like only 2% of rap music. Okay? I started naming country people that I like. And the ones that I don't know the name, but I like their music. And I let her know that I watch, the CSW network or the C something network, Country Music Network. I watch that. I don't have it on my cable. But whenever I'm around, whenever I go to, public places, I'd rather watch that than anything black. Okay? I'd rather watch the Country Music Network than to watch BET or something like that. Okay? But this woman just started getting racist with me. And acting like, oh, we're going to argue about, she tried to act like I'm being racist against my own brother, another black man, because I don't think his hat goes with his clothes. Okay? Oh, well, you got a problem with country. You must not like country music. You know what else I said? I said, how much, I looked at him, I didn't say it to her, but I looked at him. I said, how much you want to bet he don't listen to country music either? That brother don't look like he listen to country music. That hat don't give him away. That hat don't change anything. He don't look like he listen to country music. Okay? He look like he just sporting that hat because he want to do something different today. But it don't go with the rest of his outfit. That's all I said, But, this is 2021. I don't have a right to say stuff like that. But oh, people got a right to say it about me. But I don't have a right to say that. Okay? But white people will always define us by our race, no matter how equal you think that we are, that we're really not. White people will always define us by our race instead of our character. I talked to you about how I've had situations where I had to argue with the police, or the police wouldn't even let me argue. I'm trying to tell them they're trying to investigate a crime. I was the first responder. I was there when the crime happened. But because of this, and because of the people that committed the crime were this, they're not going to listen to what I have to say because they figure I'd just be another Negro lying about it. Okay? These are irreconcilable differences will never get past. If you think you're going to beat this, and I mean, don't get me wrong, all white people are not like this. But a lot of white people are. I told you a story about how I went to drop off a white friend of mine in her neighborhood. She was not my girlfriend. She's much older than me, but she's my friend. She had her grandbaby with her. Okay? I'm dropping her off in her neighborhood. She lives 2 doors up. And so we pulled up. Okay? And you know, I seen the dog sitting on the porch, but I figure he's a friendly dog because it looks like he sits on the porch all the time. Soon as he saw me get out of the car, he come flying off that porch. And I had a feeling he wasn't going to attack me, but I shut the door, the passenger side door where the grandbaby was, so the dog, you know, just in case. Well, the dog came out and he just ran up on me and sniffed me. He didn't attack me or bite me or anything like that. So once I seen it was a friendly dog, I pulled, the kid out of the car. Now, the people that own the dog come running out there because they thought the dog was going to bite me or something. So instead of saying, oh, I'm glad, okay, he likes you, okay, good, I'm glad, oh, thank God. No, they come out there and blame me. Just in case their dog had decided to bite me. It would have been my fault because I'm black. And they clearly said, well, it's people like you. I said, oh, he's a friendly dog. They're not getting it. The dog doesn't have a problem with me. You do. The dog just wanted to play, or dog's wagging his tail. But they're like, well, it's people like you that abuse him. That's why he is the way he is. That's why he is the way what? Running off the porch? That's a dog-eat-dog situation. That's not a black thing because your dog ran off the porch. I'm sure he runs off the porch for everybody to walk past here. Who you think you lying to? Okay, so this is, you know, the thing, and I'm closing. You know, we get, you know, they don't see us a lot of times. And I know I'm sounding really weird talking about this because most of my, I don't want to sound like a Democrat, okay? And I don't want to sound like a whiner. I don't want to sound like I'm playing a race card, and I'm not. This is stuff that's not going to change, so there is no race card, okay? But we are still defined by our race instead of our character. Okay, that's the dog in the room. Okay, there's outer equality as far as jobs and neighborhoods. We're starting to break the cycle of segregation. We're starting to break the cycle of, you know, how many black people can be working around white people in certain jobs. We're starting to pull more black people into businesses and so on and so on. But that's all outward. On the inside, on the inner family, on the inner circle, people are not equal. You go to work every day, okay? White people sit with white people, even though they believe that Black Lives Matter. White people still sit with white people. Black people sit with black people. Asian people sit with everybody. Okay, because there's usually not they sit with white people. They sit with everybody white. They sit with white people. Okay. Indian people sit with Indian people unless there's no Indian people around. Then they'll sit with white people. Okay. But if you know what I'm saying. Now, sometimes when you're the only black person, that's there, and I've been in that situation, it's like, hey, Cruz, come on over here. What are you sitting over there for? Come sit with us. Okay, they'll do that because I'm the only black guy there. And so they get an A for the day. Okay, they get an A for the day, but that doesn't change the fact that deep down inside, you don't see me as your equal. You see yourself as being nice, and everything you do for me is just another pat on your back, instead of you looking at me and bearing witness that you like me because I'm DeRoy Cruz. You like me because you've been watching me, you work with me, you know how I am. You know I'm a good guy. But no, everything about me, you give yourself another pat on the back for it. You don't ever look at me and look at my character and let my character set the grade for me. Let my character describe me. No. If I do good and you're okay with it and you appreciate it, you give yourself a pat on the back. That's not equality. Equality is let every man that does the good, that does the right thing, let him be counted as any other man that does the right thing. Okay? And race is race. It's not just white people that have this issue, but it's every race out there, and every race has stereotypes about other races. Okay, you're not going to get past that. That's not going anywhere. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Asian people have stereotypes about your black behind. Indian people and everybody else have stereotypes about your black behind, along with white people. And let me say this on a good note. White people, because they've been with you so long, they've been with you since slavery and Jim Crow. White people are down to the point to where if anybody is going to be your equal intimately, it would be white people. After all I've said, when you compare white people with other races, if anybody's going to be equal with your black behind on the inner circle, it would be a white person. And the white people, I had a friend of mine that just died from COVID not too long ago that was white. He was one of my best friends. And he treated racism the way black people treated racism. He clearly, whenever me and him were together, he was very race conscious for my sake. Okay? And if you said certain things, I didn't think it was racism. He did. He's snapping out on some white dude, and I'm like, what happened? He shouldn't have said that to you. What did he say to me? You know what I'm saying? He was very conscious like that. Okay? Because he had a deliverance from these things. And so when he, back in the day, would say something like that, for him it was racism. It was a stereotype. So now that he's got a black friend that he's real good friends with, and, we have this relationship with God among us, between us, okay? He was very conscious about anybody saying anything near or close to the stuff that he used to say. That he knew deep down inside, if he be honest with himself, that it was pro-stereotypical, okay? So, but that is the dog in the room. No matter what we do or say, there's always the dog in the room. No matter how good a black man you are, no matter how bad a black man you are. When you're a bad black man, when you have issues as a black person, you play the race card or whatever, that just creates more dogs in the room. That just brings all the other dogs out too. Okay? That just makes that dog bark louder. Okay? But there's always going to be that dog in the room. And the Lord has shown me this. There's nothing you can do about it except the fact that it's going to be there. You need to learn how to love around it. You need to learn how to do circles around that and love around that. You continue to be the good black person that you need to be. Okay? And let the evidence slap your opponent in the face. Those that stereotype you, those that, you know, are hating on you on the inside while they lie on the outside, okay? Let your character slap them in the face. Let your love for them, your mercy, your love, slap them in the face every time. And I tell you, like in my life, I'm very confusing to a lot of white people because I never act the way they expect me to act. When they come around me saying certain things and stuff like that, okay, all right, I don't allow myself to, you know, I don't get aggressive. I don't become threatening. I don't start playing the race card. I just let them come. I let them, and you know, and I'm like, okay, what else you got to say? Like, come clean, spit it out, you know, you know, and I've had a lot of fun doing that. It's been exciting. So that's the dog in the room. No matter how much we get along, there will always be the dog in the room. You know how white people feel about their dogs. Okay? And I want to say one more thing. If you see a dog, you know, hanging out on your property, you know, most white people ain't gonna go get the shotgun or anything like that. Okay? And start and you know, start shooting at the dog. Some will, but most won't. They'll be like, oh, you know, I've heard white people tell me the dog just ran up on their property and became their pet. You know, you don't know where that dog been. That dog could have all kinds of problems and diseases. You don't know. But if you see a black man going through your garbage, okay, obviously, either he's doing a movie in the back of your house on homelessness, okay, or he's actually homeless and he's going through your garbage because he's trying to eat something. Obviously, he ain't trying to harm you, or you go to the house and get some fresh food, right? So what do? You call the police, you go get a gun, whatever, say, get off my property, whatever, okay? And I'm not saying all white people are like this, but most, okay? Me personally, if you can't eat out of my garbage. I wouldn't let you eat out of my garbage for two reasons. One, because it's my garbage. Don't eat out of it. You know, if you're eating out of my garbage today, what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Eating off my porch? Okay, no, I don't want you that close. But two, I don't allow nobody to be homeless in my presence. If you're going to eat out of my garbage, then you can eat some real food. Why don't you get your face out of my garbage? Why don't I go in the house and fix you a plate? And I'll come out here and bring it to you. Okay, but don't eat out of my garbage. Okay? There's ways to deal with our differences without having this interlinear attitude of I'm better than you no matter what. And that's where we're at. So I'm DeRoy Cruz, your life applications officer. I just want you to understand that I understand that, and I never say anything about that, and I just wanted to share that with you, being I'm back to, here I am in another video series where I'm constantly saying something about black people, mainly black people of the street, a certain brand of black people. But, you know, I said some things in the video yesterday, and I'm thinking, people are thinking, man, he's really hard on, he really don't like his race, does he? He's really hard on black people. No, I just understand the dog in the room, and your way of dealing with it is just wrong. Okay, because it's not going to stop until Jesus comes back. Okay, God bless you, DeRoy Cruz, your life applications officer. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the series.